Disneyland is crowded. Of course Disneyland is crowded. It's a place that a lot of people want to go. So don't go there and complain that it's crowded. This is something that drives me so crazy, especially as someone who grew up in a small town who just really can't handle waiting in lines. But I see people go to places that are super crowded because someone told them it's the place to be, and they can't stop complaining that there's people there. Of course there's people there. It's the place you're supposed to be. If you want a better experience, go somewhere where people aren't. Or accept that that's what it is, where you are, and shut up about it. This is my spicy hot take. So, a few months ago, a friend and I were in Yosemite National Park, and we wanted to go to Yosemite Falls. Now, Yosemite is the Disneyland of national parks at the best of times, and Yosemite Falls is one of the most popular things to see in that national park. So we got there and we parked at the trailhead, which was just a giant parking lot full of hundreds of cars, and we walked up the entirely paved path. It's not a trail, it's a path to the waterfall, and there were 1,000 people just taking selfies, running into each other, jostling in the mist, trying to get the perfect picture and hitting each other's hands as they spun around trying to take the perfect selfie. And then we took our pictures and we started walking, and probably half a mile away, all of a sudden you couldn't hear anyone, but there were still a couple people on the trail. And then we went another half mile, and you couldn't see anyone. There was no one else on the trail. And we were in one of the most crowded national parks in the country, second only to Yellowstone. And we were just by this quiet stream, completely alone, by ourselves. We had it exclusively. And that just reminded me of something that has been true over and over and over and over and over again, which is all of the best stuff is not where the crowds are. And all you have to do to get there is just a little bit more effort, and you're going to see something so much more amazing, and it's going to be exclusive to you, and there's going to be no one there, so it's going to be a much better experience, and all you have to do is put in just a physical exertion, and you have a much better experience than you would have standing in line in a place that's super crowded. So crowded places are worth going to once or twice, but all of the really good stuff isn't where the crowds are. It's just a little bit further on up the path, and all you have to do is just put in a little bit more effort, and you will have something that no one gets. To apply this in a city, don't go to the bagel shop with the giant line around it more than once. There's a bagel shop probably a couple blocks away that doesn't have a line around it and probably serves perfectly good bagels. Don't be a fool who goes and waits in an hour-long line for a bagel just because someone told you that was the bagel shop to go to. Now, I'm being facetious, but there are plenty of places you can apply this in life, like in relationships. A lot of people want depth, but settle for surface level conversations. But all the good stuff is past everything you don't want to bring up. And it's only a little bit more effort. And then once you make it, you feel so relieved. It's incredible. Spirituality in nature, just like me and my friend did. If I was alone in that situation, I would have walked out of the crowd, I would have gone half a mile down the road, and I would have had a quiet stream completely to myself where I could have just sat and reflected, rather than complaining that the waterfall that was beautiful was full of people, because of course it was. Now, in self-discovery and healing, this also comes into play. You can read as many self-help books as you want and go to all the talks, but eventually it becomes procrastination until you sit there and deal with yourself. And that's the work no one's going to do, is just quietly sitting there and listening to their own thoughts. All you have to do is go a little bit beyond where the crowds are, and you will find the good stuff, I promise.